Well, speaking a little bit of Sioux Falls, we still have the college season, which is wrapping up for the Division II teams. USF is 9-1. They're going to play Wayne State this week. Despite that, they're ranked 7th in the regional rankings. You have to be in the top 6. They actually fell from 3 to 7 when they lost to number 1 Mankato, which I don't understand.
Crazy.
They could finish 10-1, then they've got Wayne State at home, so they still have to win that game. Are they really going to get snubbed at 10-1? That to me just seems atrocious.
Well, it seems atrocious, but there are like 10 teams in the region that have 1 loss or less. Yeah. So 4 teams are going to feel like it's atrocious.
But your only loss is to the number 1.
I know. I'm just saying though, you can't go by the record. You got to look at the fact that they were leading Mankato late in the third quarter. Means they should be one of those 6. But if you just look at the record, 4 teams are going to feel like they got hosed and didn't make the playoffs. So which 6 do you take? Well, you take conference champions in however many leagues, and then you take the next best record. And I'm shocked that they dropped from 3 down to 7. That makes no sense. They should go. But let's hope that something happens to, if they win this game against Wayne State, which I think they will. Let's hope somebody else loses so they can go, because they deserve to go.
Well, and the team that hopped over them, because they stayed 7 this week after they beat Upper Iowa, the team that hopped over them had been 9th and went from 9 to 6 over them.
So there you go. It could happen, yeah.
And St. Cloud had a similar deal, too, where they thought they were going to finish 10-1 and get left out, and they went in. So, and one other team we'll quickly touch on that also is going to need some playoff help is South Dakota State. They did go to Indiana State and pick up a big win against a team that was also in playoff contention. The fact North Dakota State lost to Northern Iowa has kind of muddled things a little bit more in terms of Northern Iowa getting back in the mix. It's still this simple for the Jacks. They need to win out and they need some help.
Yes, they got to finish 8-4 and get lucky. It's that simple.
And it's a shame, too, because I would like to kind of see him in the playoffs now that Austin Sumner seems to be kind of getting back into game shape again. He looked pretty good after a rough start at Indiana State, and Jake Winicky was very good with a 91-yard touchdown. And unfortunately, we're seeing the end of Zach Zenner's career, which has been fantastic. But the bigger story at State this past week, with respect to the football team, was the football team, the SDSU women's soccer team at the Summit League tournament. They beat North Dakota State in the semifinal on Thursday. A freshman, Tori Poole, scores 2 goals. Then in the final, they're down.
And they beat the Bison, which made it better for them, yeah.
And they'd lost to them earlier in the season, too, so a little revenge.
In fact, she scored the quickest goal in the history of the school, 41 seconds into that game against North Dakota State, and then scored with about 32 minutes left in the game to put them up 2-0. She was named MVP of the Summit League tournament, which for a freshman is pretty crazy. That's awesome stuff. And then, of course, Nicole Hatcher scored with 30 seconds left in the championship game, down 1-0.
That never happens. I mean, in soccer, you're down 1-0 in the final minute. You need a miracle, and they kind of got it.
No, they did. It's a Cinderella story. It really is. We need Bill Murray to sort of talk about that with guys. It's a Cinderella story. He's on 18. He's hitting from 180 yards with a pitching wedge. But it really was a goal by Nicole Hatcher, the freshman from Sioux Falls Roosevelt, who also scored in the
Denver game
the last regular season game against Denver to make it 2-0, which incidentally means they will host the Summit League tournament next year. It's based on who won the regular season crown. This is just huge. And then we had her on Calling All Sports today. She was great. You can listen to that archived at callingallsportssd.com. We also had her on our show responding to that. And for her, it's a dream come true, because they're playing North Carolina, the team that has won 21 national titles. Their NCAA tournament record is 118-9-3. That's ridiculous. Yeah. That's even more dominant than John Wooden's Bruins of UCLA back in the stretch of years that they were so dominant.
I mean, that to give people an idea, that's what this is. This would be like the SDSU men's team going to the NCAA tournament against Wooden's Bruins, or SDSU football playing Bear Bryant's Alabama teams. I mean, this is the team in all of women's college soccer, and they always have been. They've won 21 of the 31 titles. And they've admitted, too, there's going to be nerves. They're going to be maybe a little intimidated, but I got to think that they're maybe a little more calm and maybe a little more cool under pressure after everything that's happened this weekend.
They got nothing to lose. I mean, they can just relax and play. In fact, the last time they made the NCAA tournament was 2008. I'd lost track of how long ago it was. I didn't think it was that long. But they beat Colorado in their first game. One of the beauties of soccer is that because it's a low-scoring game, if a team gets a break here or there and the other team doesn't, and the team that's supposed to win starts to press, you can get an upset. And this would be a colossal upset, but it could happen. North Carolina is not ranked number 1 and undefeated this year. They're 12-3-2, I believe, was their record, and got in as a wild card, I believe. So I think they're just excited. As Nicole said, this is a dream come true that I get to play the North Carolina, and that's cool. Happy for the Jackrabbits.
And, of course, a lot of these are freshmen, too. That was the nice part. Lot to look forward to, but they've done so much in their first year, and they scored all the goals of the tournament, literally, for the Summit League tournament.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Also, a shout-out to Augustana. They are in the NCAA Division II tournament.
They're in the Central Region down in Missouri. They're going to play Central Oklahoma on Friday at 1 o'clock. By the way, that South Dakota State game's at 4 o'clock on Friday in
Chapel Hill.
It's in Chapel Hill against the Tar Heels on their home field. Augie plays Central Oklahoma. They're the number 3 seed in the 6-team region tournament down in Warrensburg, Missouri. And if they win that, then they play Central Missouri, who got a bye in the first round, the number 2 seed. So Augie set a record for most wins in school history. It's the second time they've made the region in school history, and they've had a great year. And it's maybe a chance to atone for a game that they lost in the Summit League, the NSIC tournament, where they were home and lost to Duluth 1-0 in a game that I guarantee you they felt like they should have won, the number 2 seed against the number 7 seed. So there you go. The number 7 seed can beat the number 2 seed. Anything can happen in soccer.
No question. Also, shout out to Will Lauer. Of course, his Patriots won the cross-country title a few weeks ago, a state cross-country title, and he won the individual title. He also wins the Nike Cross Country Heartland Regional. Second place, my bad. I was actually there, so I should remember that. His team
lost by 2 seconds.
Oh, yeah, that was a fight to the finish down the stretch. He lost to the Wisconsin state champion.
He was one of the 10 best runners in the country.
Exactly, yeah.
So and the Lincoln boys. Now in a deal like this, they're the Lincoln team, but it's after the season is over, so they're kind of almost like running unattached. They don't wear uniforms or anything like that.
That did not make it easy to pick him out.
I'm sure it didn't. And, well, you know who Will is, so that helps. But, yeah, it's a lot easier when you see the light blue and the red. But they finished third, and the top 2 teams got automatic spots in the Nike Nationals in Beaverton, Oregon, December 6th or 7th is when that race is. And so the top 2 teams got automatic berths into that, and then there are 16 teams total that will get automatic berths, 20 teams total. So there's 4 at-large wild card type of teams. The Patriots finished third and only 6 points behind the second place team. And 6 points in a cross-country meet with that many teams, that's close. That means I talked to my son today, that means like every single one of the runners on the team is probably thinking, if I had just got past one more guy.
Even Will's got to be thinking, if I got just 2 more seconds.
Yeah, but he did as well. I mean, thing is, all of them ran great. Yeah. Several personal bests. They just happened to lose to 2 teams that were faster and better. So
it's good all year, too.
Yeah, well, Edina actually didn't even make the state tournament in Minnesota, but they got their best runner back.
Oh, okay.
And they'd had 3 weeks to rest. Little tidbit you didn't know.
Yeah. No, I did not.
And Edina ended up they were the second team that got a automatic berth into the Nationals by the fact that they ran incredibly on Sunday, and Wayzata, ranked number 3, I think, in the country, was first. So you can't feel bad when the 2 teams that beat you all ran the times that they did. The Lincoln kids ran great. So you hope you get a chance to run in Nationals. If not, Will Lauer is going because he finished second here, and that's a tremendous honor for him to go. And there have been a lot of guys in the past. Addison DeHaven, of course, has gone a couple of times, and it's a big deal for a kid from South Dakota to go. If the team got to go, it's the first time that's ever happened.
Well, we covered a lot of ground this week in the blog. We'll be back next week looking back at the state championships. Oh, by the way, it's State U next week for football. And it's college basketball season, too, which we're not even going to touch until we get out of football.
We're also wrapping up this week girls volleyball spots in the state tournaments. It's Tuesday nights, all kinds of region championships. So there's a few teams that have already punched their ticket to state, including O'Gorman, Harrisburg, but they're in Aberdeen. Aberdeen and Huron was a great match for their district championship. And so it'll be fun to see what happens here in the next few days in high school volleyball. And state U play on Tuesday night down at the Dome, and women's volleyball too.
U's been very good this year. So
USF plays at Duluth in the NSIC tournament. The top 8 teams all made it. SMSU is at home, and Northern's at Wayne State. All those are the 3 teams in our area that all made the NSIC tournament. Northern had Concordia St. Paul on the ropes on Saturday. They were up 2-0 and lost 3-2 to a team that's been the best team in the country for the last umpteen years. And Duluth's pretty good this year, too.
USF took Concordia to 5 sets, too. So it's been NSIC is just a great volleyball conference. If you need sports entertainment, there's no lack of options this week. Enjoy the games. We'll be back next week. For Mark Ovenden, I'm Zach Borg. This is the KDLT Sports Extra Points video blog.